Thank you. I think one of Coach Miller's golden rules while we were at Clarion was if there aren't pictures, it didn't happen. So please feel free, any of you with me tonight, take some pictures so we can show that this actually happened. Thank you to the committee, and congratulations to all the other inductees. It's an honor to be sitting up here with all of you this evening. I'll be honest, it's been a tough last 11 years. To listen to Tilly talk about how cool it is to be in the Hall of Fame, and then hear my kids ask me on a regular basis, Daddy, was Mommy really that much better than you? I want to thank all my family, former teammates, friends, and Duquesne swimmers that showed up today. Of course, I've had to hear a lot from my former teammates about this induction. Questions like, is this induction by a large random draw of names like the lottery? What exactly are the qualifications? I was shocked and also humbled when Stephen Darby told me I was only the 9th male swimmer and diver to receive this honor. Of course, he also mentioned he was the 6th. I'm not sure I would have ever gotten here if it wasn't for the love and support of my family. My brother Bob, who being 7 years older than me, had the tendency to torment all of us. Because of him, I got very good at hide and seek, which really came in handy my first couple of years at Clarion when I needed to find hiding places at parties where visitors from the local law enforcement showed up. My brother Steve, that took over the duties of driving me to practice when he got his driver's license, to working all those extra hours at Wise Markets so I didn't have to. Give him a couple drinks tonight and he'll tell you all about it. And finally, Scott, who really set the bar for me from a swimming perspective. When we were younger, I aspired to beat him. When I finally did, I knew I was headed in the right direction. Most importantly, I want to thank and recognize my mom and dad. Thank you so much for everything that you did for me. From the trips every night to the Lock Haven YMCA, when you were only working on 3 hours of sleep, to driving us all around Pennsylvania and Ohio to swim in USA swimming meets. This is as much your honor as it is mine. I really found it hard to decide what to talk about this evening. After 24 years, it's hard to distinguish between what was real and what we embellished. Tonight, only the true witnesses of the events will be able to distinguish between either. I will admit my road to Clarion was not an easy one. My mom's first impression of Coach Miller was not the one you would hope for on an unofficial visit. In his defense, he had just lost his assistant coach and was trying to balance running a combined team by himself while taking time out of his day to meet with a recruit, his girlfriend, and mother. If it wasn't for a curly-haired freshman with thick-rimmed glasses named Bird Dog coming over to say hello to my mom during lunch, I'm not sure Clarion would have gotten a second chance. He was a nice boy, she would later say. Jason is still one of my closest friends today. After the visit, when we got home, my dad asked my mom what she thought. "I don't like that Coach Miller," she said. "You take him the next time." Needless to say, my dad's trip went a lot better, and he finally convinced my mom to give Coach Miller another shot. She's never spoken anything but praise since then. My first year and a half at Clarion were what I would call average. It's a bit humbling to have a friend who happened to be the breaststroker on your medley relay tell you before every relay, "Try to keep it close for me." Those of you that know John probably aren't that surprised. I missed nationals as an individual my first year, only participated in relays, and was demoted to riding in the trunk of a Chevy Cavalier. On top of that, I was working on a 2.0 and go mentality academically. I think my roommate and team manager, Eric Ritzert, and I spent more time in the dorms trying to annoy Brian Delaney, AKA Boog, than we spent in the library. It wasn't until my advisor, Dr. McPherson, pulled me into his office after my third semester that my academic career turned around. He told me, "Dave, you know there is no professional swim league. It's time to take academics as serious as swimming." I want to thank Dr. McPherson for that. His advice stuck with me, and I carry it every day when I stress to my athletes at Duquesne the importance of finding that balance. That spring, I got a 3.0. I made NCAAs as an individual and never had to ride in a trunk again. I think one of the biggest reasons we were so successful my sophomore and junior years was twofold. One, Coach Miller, Coach Van Dyke, and Coach Rovat did an excellent job putting together a great team. Two, we had a group of people that truly cared about each other and wanted to succeed not for their own personal gain, but for Clarion swimming and diving. So much of my growth as a swimmer was because of the people around me. I went from trying to keep it close to telling John, try not to blow the lead. I feel so blessed to have been part of what undoubtedly is the best men's team to ever swim and dive for Clarion. To be able to train with the best male swimmer ever and one of my closest friends, Steve Darby, was a treat in itself. But training with teammates and friends like John Troby, Greg Cunningham, Rick Bull, Scott Rosenbaum, and Mark Keister, and so many more on a daily basis made me better. In our success, we never did it for ourselves, but for each other. Clarion also helped me grow as a person and a professional. I thank our coaches for that. Coach Miller, you were the cheerleader and backbone of Clarion swimming and diving. We never wanted to disappoint you. Thank you for keeping me on track when you thought I might head down the wrong path. You reminded us every day, especially when we were creeps, that being a great person will always outweigh being a great swimmer. I hope we were both. Coach Rovat, thank you for cranking out great divers every year, especially in 1992, but also for taking me in while I was a postgraduate student as a roommate. You demonstrated that being a Clarion swimmer and diver doesn't end when you graduate. I still think I owe you 48 cents for a phone bill. Coach Van Dyke, thank you for being a great coach and recruiting buddy. I learned more about coaching during our Pizza Pub Wednesdays and Dave Care Thursdays than I did at any coach's clinic. More importantly, you and Cindy made us, me, Tilly, and the kids, a part of your family when we lived here in Clarion. With personal and athletic growth aside, the greatest thing Clarion gave me was a wonderful wife, 3 great kids, memories that will last a lifetime, stories that continue to be funny even after all this time, and lifelong friends that I love dearly. In closing, one of the most valuable lessons I learned here at Clarion was through a conversation I had with Coach Van Dyke my sophomore year, after missing the NCAA cut at our midseason invite. For those of you that really know Mark, you know he's not a cheerleader. But if asked, he's a straight shooter and will tell you not what you want to hear, but what you need to hear. I asked him why was it, through all of my hard work, I couldn't make NCAAs like Brady Stauffer from Shippensburg. Brady was the eventual national champion and NCAA record holder. He looked at me and point blank said, "Dave, maybe you're just not as good as Brady." For a 19-year-old with an ego, that was hard to swallow. But in the same sentence, he also said, "Why don't you focus on making Dave Sheets the best he can be and not worry about being someone you're not?" Well, the rest is history. Here I am, a Hall of Fame inductee. My point, Clarion should never strive to be an IUP, a Westchester, or a Bloomsburg. No athlete here should try to be someone else. I challenge this university from the president to the athletic director, the coaches, and all the athletes. Be your best self every day. Never settle for good, but always strive to be your own great. Thank you.